Yeah, I think over the last, or sorry, kind of 48 hours after the game, we were all pretty frustrated, pretty disappointed with ourselves, as not the way we wanted to start the campaign. But like it's the same when you lose, when you win. This tournament comes or moves on very quickly, and you can't afford to kind of rest and get annoyed about that, and you just have to move on. And I think that's exactly what we've done this week. We've really piled into looking at Scotland and analysing them and kind of. Yeah, no, the training's been good and everybody's been kind of real switched on this week.
Seemingly not what was on the script at all, given how much form all of the players were coming in to the championship with, all of the provincial teams in Europe.
Yeah, unfortunately, provincial form doesn't translate into international form, and the Six Nations is obviously a highly competitive tournament. So yeah, we were really disappointed about the result at the weekend, and all we can do now is look forward and try and win the remainder of our games.
Disappointing, obviously, to lose that home run that you'd built up in the Aviva. But speaking of home runs, Scotland have built up one as well, and they'll be eager to keep that. They did it against Ireland 2 years ago.
Yeah, they're a really good team, not just at home in general. They've built a really good squad and they've a very dangerous backline. You look at the backs that they've named, there's some seriously good players in there. So it's not going to be an easy task going over to Murrayfield, but it's something that we feel like we're up for.
Feel out of pressure this week, Jacob?
I think if we'd won on Saturday, there would have been pressure to keep winning, and just because we lost, it doesn't mean there's any added pressure. There's always a massive amount going into any international game, and I think we just have to do what we've been doing well over the last 2 years, and not let that performance at the weekend kind of get us too down and put too much pressure on ourselves in that sense.
And what's been the main message this week? Has it been trying to lay down a physical marker from the off, or just improve accuracies? What's the main thing?
I think the reason that we've been so good over the last season and a half, 2 seasons is because we've done all of those things really well, and I think at the weekend we let ourselves down in a couple of those scenarios. So yeah, the message this week is just go back to what we do well, and that's our physicality, our accuracy with the ball, getting our details right, and yeah, once you start doing that, then the performance comes after that.
Is half the battle of beating Scotland suffocating Finn Russell?
Anytime you play an opposition, you want to put their 10 under as much pressure as you can, and yeah, if you let Finn Russell control the game and run the game, and you let him get into it, he's one of the most dangerous players in the world, and he's a class player. So yeah, I think he's going to be a big person that we're going to have to try and shut down in the game.
Joe said in wanting to recover from the England game, the important thing was not to go chasing the championship. Has that been a big message? And I suppose maybe just approaching the first 10 minutes of that game against Scotland, that's your big target.
Yeah, Joe has kind of alluded to that, and the way that if we are going to win this championship, the way that we're going to do it is not by he says chasing games. It's going to be about just making sure that we prepare well and perform well, like we've done for a while. So yeah, for us it's just go into this game and only worry about this game, and then after this one's over, then we worry about the next one.
Robbie Henshaw, Gary Ringrose missing. There's an awful lot of disruption to the back line. Jacob, is that going to be a big problem going into this game?
No, I don't think so. Obviously, Gary and Robbie are 2 big losses because they're both really quality players. But I mean, when you've got Chris Farrell coming in, last year he came in for 1 game, got man of the match. So that's kind of quality that the player he is, and obviously then you've got Carnes at fullback, and he's been there plenty of times there before. So yeah, that's what we've been building, and and that's the kind of the mentality that there is in this squad, that whenever one player goes out, another player comes in, and they're able to do a good job. And I've absolutely no doubt that Chris is going to do a great job in that sense.
And England found a lot of green grass when they kicked to the fullback area last year. When you get Rob coming back in, how important is his communication to the wingers as well, like yourself?
Yeah, Rob's a real classy player, and he helps out massively in terms of what you want to do in your grass coverage, and yeah, he's been doing that for a long time, and I suppose that experience at the back is really helpful, especially for me, because realistically you know, I don't have that many caps, I don't have that much experience at this level. You know, so just to being able to do my own job and kind of, you know, knowing that he'll have me covered is really, really good.
Finn Russell's a guy who loves a big flat pass. I mean, and you obviously have a history of intercepting them. Is there a sense of a chess match that might unfold between you, or do you have to curb your instincts and maybe not reach for the one that he's hanging just in front of you?
Yeah, I think, you know, whenever you start going looking for intercepts, it can be a pretty dangerous game because, you know, like Finn Russell's a very smart player and he's, you know, he's pretty kind of intuitive, and, you know, I'd say he's definitely the kind of player that if he sees you going for it, like he'll let you think you're going to have it, and then he'll put the ball past you and or in behind you, and yeah, so I think you can't go chasing intercepts, and you just have to, you know, hopefully, you know, one becomes available throughout the game. For me, it's just, you know, making sure that I defend well, you know, kind of and connect as a backline and connect with the forwards inside me, and if you know, if the opportunity arises, then yeah, I'll definitely plan on taking it.
There was a bit of kidology from New Zealand after the November win, you know, with Steve Hansen saying, "Well, Ireland are the best team in the world." I mean, is it important to stress, you know, as a group, you guys never said that, did you?
No.
You knew where the distinction was.
Yeah, no, like you know, we know we're a good side, and we make sure that we don't kind of let ourselves down on the pitch, you know, and yeah, like I said, like we're not the finished product, and I don't think anybody had ever claimed us to be. So, you know, we're still trying to work and still trying to improve.
And obviously nobody wants to lose, but I guess the key thing is to sort of use that in your favour in the long run, isn't it? To learn from it and understand that, you know, the little things that come out of it that,
yeah,
you know, usually you get, right?
Yeah, I think, you know, you learn probably more from losing than you do from winning, and yeah, for us, like that's a massive, or well, sorry, for me personally, that's a massive point, you know, that I want to kind of, I don't want that to ever happen again. So then obviously, you know, I'm going to work twice as hard to make sure that it doesn't, and yeah, so like there's a lot to learn from last week, and a lot to kind of be excited about going forward.
What did you make of your own, how do you assess your own performance, like just individually last week?
Yeah, like obviously it's a tough one to analyse yourself whenever, you know, you've lost and you kind of feel that everything you did wasn't good enough. Obviously, you know, that like, you know, the Daly's try where you know, I kind of tried to collect it and it bounced out of my hands. I was really disappointed with that because, you know, I felt like I could have collected it and obviously stopped that try. Outside of that, like, you know, I wouldn't say I was happy with my performance, but, you know, I thought there was a lot of good with what I did, and you know, I felt like I had a lot to tent. Like any game, you look back and you know, you look at every decision you make and you go, could I have made a better decision? And yeah, there is times that you could have, but you know, that's the game of rugby, and that's how you know, hopefully as I get more experience, they'll be making those decisions a bit better.
Because you mentioned with Rob coming back, he's so used to marching his troops around him. Did you feel last week there might be a little added pressure because Robbie Henshaw is a brilliant footballer, you know, he hasn't played much at that level of full back, that so defensively yourself and Keith had more to do to find going into the game? It was a slightly different dynamic from what you've been used to.
Honestly, no. Like, you know, Robbie is an incredibly good footballer, and he has played a lot of fullback. So, you know, going into the game, I didn't really feel any kind of worries about that. And to be honest, throughout the game, like, you know, I thought Robbie played well, and you know, whenever they find grass and kicks, it's not always down to the fullback not being in the right position. You know, it can be my fault, it can be, you know, a defender's fault not putting enough pressure on the 10 to kind of affect his kick. You know, so there's a whole lot of different cogs that have to work well there, and like I thought Robbie did a great job with fullback, and you know, like he's a class player, but you know, Rob is just as good, probably better in that position just because he's got a bit more experience.
Okay.
Cool.
All right,
Thanks, Jacob. Best of luck.